And let's talk about Lanithia Monique Leaks, who's speaking out on Real Housewives of Atlanta and what's going on with the show and everything over there, and her and Andy's relationship. So yeah. So it looks like the door might be open for Miss NeNe Leaks. Because remember what that once upon a time she said the door is closed? Well, I guess she probably worked things out, which I found weird because I'm like, why? And somebody said this in the comments too, and that's why I'm gonna read some of them comments over there on the Jasmine brand where I saw this video where it was about. I just don't understand NeNe trying to come back to a franchise that you accuse people of racism and all kind of discrimination and things, but anyway, so NeNe Leakes is ready to move forward with the 2022 lawsuit that nearly derailed her relationship with Andy Cohen and executives at Bravo, and it appears the feeling may be mutual. Leakes, who is set to appear in the upcoming The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Roaring 20th, a newly announced Bravo spinoff slated for a 2026 debut, shared in an interview with Vulture that she hasn't spoken to Cohen since filing the lawsuit against Bravo and its producers, alleging a hostile and racist work environment. The case was dropped later that same year. Now, according to leaks, reconnecting is ultimately Cohen's decision as she has already moved on emotionally. She said, I guess the question would be, what would it take to get him back on those terms? The Bravo celebrity told Vulture on Tuesday. I'm the kind of person that good or bad time heals. You don't have to be besties or anything like that, but I move forward. I'm not into holding negative energy. Well, she said what she said, and she said, and I ain't changing it. And I guess Andy Cohen's feeling away and holding a grudge, and he's not interested in reconciling. So now her remarks, came just one day after Cohen spoke with Vulture on May 4th. May the 4th be with you, offering his own perspective on their current dynamic. While he declined to discuss specifics of the legal situation. Wait, is this still ongoing? Because you're talking about specifics of the legal situation. They say he made it clear that the lawsuit is firmly behind them, telling the outlet that it was in the past. Well, it's funny how you can tell this to them, but not to her. So, in a prior interview with Bossa, Leaks noted that her relationship with NBC Universal had improved, pointing her to her continued appearances, hosting red carpet events for NBC as evidence of renewed goodwill. And wasn't there a rumor that she was supposed to do the last season of The Traitors? But I think because her son got sick, she had to drop out. So if they do the upcoming season of The Traitors, maybe NeNe can get on that one. Now, Cohen also opened up about filming alongside leaks for the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Roaring 20th special, reflecting on the anniversary project. Cohen said it wouldn't feel complete without Leaks' involvement, saying, as we look back on 20 years, it felt like doing something with her would be really nice for the fans, and she really wanted to do it. This is what he told Vulture, describing her comeback on the show as very positive. So he's willing to put bygones aside or negative feelings or whatever aside because he's like, it's for the fans. How noble of you, sir. Now, as one of the original cast members of RHOA, Leaks played a pivotal role in shaping the franchise. Cohen acknowledged the legacy, calling her integral to the show and its success. Notably, when asked if Leaks could return to RHOA now that she's back in the Bravo universe, Cohen kept things bum. He said, you know what? We worked so hard to get a cast on Atlanta that is cohesive and makes sense and that we love and the fans love. This is what he told the outlet. We want to be at the level that Atlanta used to be, and we are finally there. Well, you saying that sounds a little shady. It sounds like the door is basically closed, that you're not interested in having NeNe on the Housewives. Especially, look, she fucked herself when she closed that damn laptop. Remember during the COVID season when they all had to do stuff from the Zoom? They had to do the Zoom reunion, and she gave all this attitude and didn't want to be confronted on nothing. And so I'm like, sis, as somebody who claimed that they started the reunions, you know how the reunions work. And I feel like you got too big for your britches, and then you thought you was bigger than the show. And if you were that smart, you would have known how to parlay your popularity from the Housewives into other things outside of being Ryan Murphy's little muse. his black equivalent of Amanda Lepore. Like you could have been given a whole lot more to your career than just, oh, I did the new normal and I did Glee and this, that, and the other. You should have been trying to occupy and do other things. You should have had like a low reality spinoff that was following your careers, like trying to navigate as an actor or whatever, and take it. NeNe Goes Hollywood or something. You could have tried to negotiate that show, or try to work on a talk show, or try to do any of the other things. There should have been other things that you should have been using based off of your personality and everything to make your own little situation. But you wasn't doing that. You thought you was, like I said, too big for the situation. So now Leaks was asked if she would ever make a comeback to the show. And what she said was, they said she was also asked if she would ever make a ROH. I feel like they repeated themselves because it said NeNe Leakes was asked if she would ever make a RHOA comeback. Here's what she had to say. They didn't write what she had to say. Then they said Leakes was also asked if she would ever make a RHOA comeback, and her answer was interesting. So I think they probably wrote the same thing twice and then proofread before they edited one of them out. Look at me correcting people's articles going through it. I should have been an editor. Realistically speaking, if there's a space for me on Housewives, I was married, and everyone knows my husband passed away. My youngest son has had a heart transplant, and he's now a first-time dad. My oldest son's Brent. I mean, wait, the youngest son is out here with a kid. NeNe, your whole family's a hot ass mess. Um, my youngest son has a heart transplant and he's now a first time dad. My oldest son's daughter is now a teenager. We used to live in a mansion in a suburb. I now live in a high rise in the city. I date an African guy. Ultimately, if it's meant to be, it will happen. The reality TV star shared. If they wanted there to be a place for me, there will be a place because it's not like my story is any less interesting than it was then. It's probably even more interesting. Well, it sounds like your life was interesting. You could have incorporated like your grandkids, your family, all these other things going on, and your new African man and your high rise apartment. That would have been cute. Maybe what you need to do if Bravo's not giving you the time of day is go over there and hit up E. E done gave the original Real Housewives of New York girls their own show. Speaking of which, one of them was at the Knicks game yesterday in my section, Kelly Ben Simone. And I spoke to her briefly. She asked me a question about one of the suites or whatever. And she looks good up close. Um, so maybe that's what you need to do. If Bravo's not gonna give you the time of day, at least try to see if you got something interesting to go around. Film, like, go guerrilla style. Have some people, get some cameras, film a pilot, shop it around and edit it together, whatever. Shop it around to other networks and see if they're interested. Why are you sitting there holding out on a network that won't give you the time of damn day? Now, speaking of that, I wanted to come over to. Oh wait, then she also said, even before these interviews, there were signs that the relationship between Leaks and Bravo had begun to thaw. Back in January, she shared her excitement on IG after reports confirmed her participation in the Girls Trip show. She said, "I'm overjoyed. I almost can't even believe that the words that are coming out of my mouth, blah blah blah, so on and so forth." And then it goes on to some other stuff, which I don't give a good goddamn about. But what I want to do is go over to these comments and see what the people were saying over there at Jasmine Brand, because y'all had me cackling. So let's see what the people saying about what NeNe said in regards to, do y'all care? One person said, "Please get over Housewives and move on. I wouldn't dare be begging for this many years to come back." Hello, where's your dignity, daughter? Where's your dignity? Well, actually, you older than me, so you would be auntie. Now, they said NeNe got bigger than the assignment when she was on RHOA. Absolutely. Another person said, "I don't know who and where y'all came from, but if you sue a company stating racism slash discrimination slash president prejudice slash your boss is a cokehead," her words, not mine. I don't know if they would take you back. Like, hello, IDGAF. How bad y'all want her back? Do y'all remember what the fuck she said was going on at Bravo TV? And they added them too. Ooh, y'all shady. Another person said, Andy said no, they don't trust her, and I don't blame him. Another person said the door is closed. Another person says she missed the Bravo checks. The show needs to move forward, not backward. Guaranteed, if they let NeNe back in, she's gonna go back to acting how she did in her last 2 seasons on the show. In season 10, RHOA brought back NeNe, Sheree, and Kim, hoping to recapture what they had back in the early days, and that was a dramatic failure. They brought back Phaedra, hoping to reignite the magic. That was frickin' frack. That's not happening. There's Phaedra and there's Portia, but no trace of frickin' frack anywhere. My point is the past is the past. You can't recapture it, and it's best to keep moving forward. I actually agree with that. Like, if there's no way that you can actually recapture the magic that once was, sometimes that's some lightning in the bottle type ish. And it's like, you can't, if you can't recapture what was, and I know they try so many times to actually reheat them nachos for y'all's sake. But then they realized that, you know what? Since that time of when we were freaking fragging, we were thick as thieves of this moments was happening, this moment, this chemistry was this chemistry. We've all evolved and grown. And a lot can change in a year. A lot can happen in a year. So then they realized, okay, this is not working no more. So they tried that already. Meaning they gave you a chance before when you were off the show and then they brought you back. And then they saw how you was acting. So in a way, from what I'm hearing so far, because I haven't watched this new season of The Housewives, but the addition of K. Michelle and some of the other new ladies on there, people are saying that they like to see this season so far. So I don't think they need Miss Lanithia. She just need to find a way to get herself back on TV and maybe in a form of a new show. But in regards of RHOA, sis, that ship has sailed. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Would you like to see NeNe come back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta? Or do you feel that, yeah, ma'am, it's just time to move on and find something else to do? Find a new way to get yourself back on TV if you're that hard up to getting back on the television. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.